Hey everybody, welcome to the Wedding Vendor Show. I'm Josh from Evermoore Films, and this is the Wedding Vendor Show where we talk to local wedding vendors. And we are trying out something new on the show. We are trying out some live editing just to help us get episodes out more regularly. Trying to get rid of that edit backlog so that we can get these episodes out. And so we are doing a live edit, so I might miss a cue or something. We're just going to experiment. Today's the first time we're trying this, and I'm just trying it live, so we'll see what happens. Today, we have Jesus from Sanchez Event Rentals LLC. They're a rentals company, and they actually do a lot more than that as well. So we'd love to have Jesus on and have him talk to us a little bit about what they do and how they got started. How's it going, Jesus? Welcome to the show.
Hi, hello, good afternoon. How are you, Joshua?
Doing good. Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you guys do at your company?
So, our company is called Sanchez Event Rentals LLC. We have about 3.5 years that we opened, but without our naming and people knowing us, we have about 3.5. Officially, we have 3 years, going on to 4 this year. So what we do in our company, when we started originally, we started off with just tables and chairs. Never expected too much. Then once we started growing a little bit, we started adding the full table decor. We started adding backdrops, canopies, charger plates, bridal, like coordination, day of event. We started adding floral.
Man.
I've been in the floral industry quite a while already. But never really expected, when we first started this, I never really expected, oh, you can make a ton of like money with floral. When I started bringing the floral industry into my business, a lot of brides and a lot of quinceañeras were like, wow, I really want you to organize our florals.
Nice.
So that's something I took more into the business now. And that's something we also offer. We also offer like balloon ears. We offer wedding bouquets. We offer so many things that we don't really tell a lot of people because we already have a lot of clientele and a lot of people that know we offer it, if it makes sense. But that's a little bit of what we offer. We also do offer catering, Mexican style or Italian style for a lot of our clientels. We've been doing that a little bit more than when we opened. My mom and my uncles and aunts do that with me, but that's something we also offer on the side. But we also do offer a lot of variety of.
Yeah. So I guess the next question is, what do you not offer?
We don't offer quite a lot of jumpers, more because that's for kids' parties. We do have a few jumpers available, but that's not our main priority, if it makes sense. We offer those for people that need them, that have a package with us, and they want us to take them the day of. But it's not something like I can't say we don't offer it, but basically, I mean, what don't we offer? It's hard to say. We don't offer a venue,
right? Okay, so you don't do the venue, but you provide all the rentals, you provide catering, you provide florals. Correct. So I mean, just right there, that's like the majority of, like, hey, we got a venue, fill it up and make it ready for a wedding. Like, that's you know the big chunk of that, and hey, bring a bounce house for the kids. So that's cool.
Yes. So most of the time the bounce houses are more for like quinceañeras, or I have a couple weddings that they wanted outside, not inside, or the event, just because it takes away the decor for them. So that's why we don't really do that, because we're not really like just tables and chairs, but we do rent that on the side. For people that are organizing their event themselves, we offer the tables and chairs and rentals for them to pick up locally, and they do their coordination and event, stuff like that.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yes. So then it sounds like you guys are more of like call it a full service rental company, where it's like, hey, we kind of have the whole big package. It's not like someone calls you and says, hey, can I get some linens? And I'm going to get chairs from someone else and something else from someone else. Like, you're not necessarily renting at little pieces. It's kind of more like rent the whole package with us.
Correct. Yes. But now this year I came to a conclusion that I want to start doing that. because I have a lot of people, a lot of customers and vendors that want, they don't offer a specific item and they know I have it and they want me to rent it to them. I'm willing to do that now. Now I opened
Okay.
up. We know we have a lot of people that just come and pick up tables, pick up chairs, pick up linens, ironed, pick up runners, pick up a lot of sort of things like bows, pick up utensils, silverware, dinner plate, goblets. We have a lot of people that now want that, which is okay. But a funny thing is like how I tell them, like, they're like, "Oh, you're like a Walker Lewis." Because I'm like, no, we're just doing this because you need the items, but we don't do it every weekend, if it makes sense. So we mostly
Okay.
do it. Yeah, we mostly do it when we don't have it rent out on a package. We offer it to them. They call us and be like, "Hey, Jesus, do you have this item available I could pick up now?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, come get it." So that's something we do offer.
Okay. So that's a good distinction because I mean, obviously Walker Lewis is like the biggest rental place around, and people think of them, but so you're not saying like, hey, we're this ginormous warehouse, with a million
Oh
items.
yeah, no.
It's more like, well, okay, so that's a good question. How many, let's say, events per weekend do you guys typically service?
We started off doing two a weekend, 2 to 3. We'll do a baby shower of 80 to 150 guests, and we'll have a wedding or a smaller gathering. Coming into this year, there's a lot of slowing down.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of bookings coming in, but it did slow down a little bit compared to last year and compared to the year before.
Oh yeah.
I feel like, yes, it did slow down a lot. So now we're doing only one to like a couple backdrops a weekend, but it is a big package with a couple backdrops around Bakersfield, Kern County. But typically we'll be booked out. We'll have like a quinceañera, a wedding, day of florals, day of backdrops. So we'll be everywhere like Saturdays and then pick up Sundays or Mondays. So
Right.
typically we do 2 to 3. We don't like booking 5, 6. I see a lot of people do that just because we like giving the customer a lot of the attention.
Right.
And for an example, I have worked with you guys at Monji. That
Yeah.
was one of the weddings. Daisy and Chris was like their
Yes.
wedding. Them was like the best one. We were super excited to work with them because they were really detailed. I
Yeah.
loved the way they were. They were like, I want this, I want that, I want this to be here. And I'm like, sure, why not? That's for an example. If you were to have 6 or 5 or like 7 events, you're not going to be able to offer them the full customer service and the full rentals because you're going to be in a hurry being like, hey, I need to get over here. I'm sorry.
Right.
No. Yes, was to do with me. I like being there, even if they have an event coordinator for someone else. I like my table looking organized as it can. I like everything to be as we imagine because that's what we like to do. I like everything being perfect and being done by like the time we need to so we can leave and then they can be like, well, okay, it was exactly how I wanted it and the detail that's possible. But yes, that's something like that. That's how we do it.
So then, are you guys doing like setup as well? Or is like, are you just like dropping it off and you guys set it up yourselves, or is it like you're doing the setup and all of that?
No. Correct. Yes. So for a lot of typical times, we do the whole setup. For an example, like for Daisy's, we did everything. The tables and chairs were there for Baimonji, and then we got everything done. We got there. We had the florals done. We started the arch there. We did the table linens, the charger plates, the details, everything on there. We do. When we go to other places, yeah, sometimes we drop off. We don't help because they're on
Okay.
a kind of a budget, you say, and they want to do it themselves. They
Okay. So,
enjoy doing
so
it.
so you do offer both options.
Yes, of course, but mostly we do everything. We like to set up. We like to do everything, but we do offer the other part as well.
Okay. That's cool. Okay. So you guys have a huge range of things that you offer, which is great. You also offer helping people do the setup for them, which is nice, especially if someone either doesn't have a coordinator or maybe they have a day of coordinator, but they don't have like a team. They're not doing like full service, planning or a coordinator who's got like a team of people to go and set everything up for them. So that way the bride and their mom and their friends don't have to go set up all the tables. So you guys would set that up for them.
Yes.
Nice.
And then it comes to conclusion, how I tell brides when we meet, yes, there's a lot of people here in Kern County that offer the same services. I do recommend a lot of people as well because some people like different stuff. And then they always come back and they're like, oh my God, I want you guys now because, I'm like, oh, we're booked. And then when they
Mm.
see that we did a wedding for a friend or a cousin, they're all like, oh my God, I wish we should have went with you guys. Because I'm not saying it to throw it out there, but I love being detailed as possible. I just love it because that's how you get a lot of clientele, you get a lot of customers' feedback, and you get a lot of vendors that are like, how do you do it like that? And I'm just like, it takes time. You have to sit with your bride 2 to 3 times, your quinceañera, and be like, are you sure you want this? I recommend this cut, this
Right.
style. It takes a lot of talking and communication with someone in order for it to be detailed as possible. That's why we tell someone plan ahead accordingly, because planning a wedding is a lot of time, or a quinceañera. It takes quite a time, a while to get your dream wedding or event to happen. It doesn't just say, "Oh, Jesus, I want this done tomorrow." Yes, it could be happen,
Right.
but sometimes the stuff is not available, so it
Yeah.
can't be happening.
Yeah, and it takes time, and and if everyone wants the same super cool piece of furniture, and it's like, hey, we only have one, then it's like, how do you do that? Okay, so I think we kind of covered like what you guys do, which is great, and I think we brought out some cool things that I definitely had no idea. You guys did catering and whatever else. So let's just circle back over that for a second. So in addition to the rental portion, you guys do catering, and what else besides that?
We have servers. A lot of people get
Okay.
contact my servers. We do have servers. That's about it. That
And
I
you
offer.
contract out the servers to other people too.
Correct. Yeah, I have done it
Nice.
to a few vendors, to a few halls. We have done that. Most of the time when we cater, or we have like the what's it called? We do the events. They're like, hey, do you have servers? We already have the catering from. I'm like, yeah, of course, and we just contract them, and they have a time they get there and the time they leave, and that's how it works.
Nice. So so let's just go down the catering trail for a second. What sorts of food do you guys do?
So we offer quite a range. Off top of my head, we offer like birria, asado, fajitas, shrimp fajitas, green Italian pasta, Mexican pasta, white rice, Mexican rice, beans. In Spanish, they're called frijoles charros. So we offer that. That comes with like bacon, sausage. It comes with onion. It's so delicious. And then we also offer like
Yeah.
pozole. We offer enchiladas, verdes with pollo, suizas. We offer quite a range. We offer like the chili, the tortillas, everything. We always take our aguas frescas, which is like
Oh
lime,
yeah.
cucumber, watermelon. So we offer quite a stuff. It's super delicious. A lot of people love it, and a lot of people just prefer like salad, like steak. That's when I contract other people for them, and I'm like, yeah, I recommend you going through that.
Gotcha.
But we offer quite a range of stuff that a lot of people like.
Okay. So it sounds like it's primarily more Mexican food.
Yes, that's why we do add in that Italian pasta. We also do a little bit of like appetizers that a lot of people are like, I want it like Mexican, but I want some white dishes. So my friends could like it. I'm like, perfect. That's okay.
There you go. Okay. Do you guys do like the fancy appetizers, or what sort of appetizers do you guys do?
No, it's normally like sliders. It's normally like
Okay.
chicken tacos, or like fruit, salad. It's little things like that.
Okay. Nice. That's cool. See, that's like a whole side trail to this conversation that, I had no idea was going to happen. So that's super fun. Let's see here. Do you have any good stories to share with us, Jesus? Because you've done this for a couple years. There's always a good story somewhere. Now,
See what.
and good story might mean like a horrible horror story of when things went horribly wrong. Yeah.
Let me think about the time this happened. Yes, I can. So this was, when was it? I think it was
And we won't say names or dates. We'll protect
Oh
the
no, I
innocent,
don't
of
even remember
course.
the names.
Yeah.
The
See,
bride.
perfect. There you go.
No, so this happened in like 2 years ago.
Okay.
It was in like September, October. We had been planning their wedding for quite a while. And I told the bride, I'm like, hey, I think it's gonna rain that day and you're doing it outdoor.
Oh
Are you
yeah.
sure you don't want to add like a nice huge canopy? You don't want to move it into a venue. She was like, nope. The guys, they were like, the couple was like, no, it's not going to rain. It's going to be perfect, you know? And I was like,
Oh
okay.
man.
2 days before, it's like pouring in Bakersfield, and this was like 30 minutes out of Bakersfield. So I'm like, oh my God, like she had like over 250 gas, linen, charger plate,
Oh my gosh.
silverware, centerpieces. She went all out. So then I'm like, I don't want it to end up to being on me, you know? So I'm like, I contact her a day before. I'm like, are you sure you don't? She's like, nope. I want it to look nice. I'm like, okay. So then day comes, we're heading that way, and it's like pouring. It's like pouring, and I'm like, no.
Oh.
So then we're just heading that way. We get to the it's like an outdoor ranch, and we get there. It's like cloudy, but it's like now nice, you know. But you could tell it's gonna come back. So we set up everything. It's like super nice for like 3-4 hours, and I'm like, oh, she got good luck.
Oh man.
We did the backdrop, the balloon, the florals, and it looks so beautiful. Leaving the venue, the ranch, she texts me. She's like, hey, I'm gonna need you to bring me 3 canopies, 2 heaters. And then I'm like, I'm sorry, like, what do you mean? And she's like, yeah, I had told you I wanted that. I'm like, no, you didn't.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was super horrible. And I was like, I'm not gonna say her name, but I was like,
Yeah.
hey, you know, you had told me you didn't want it, and I told you nicely, hey, it's gonna rain.
Oh my
So
gosh.
just because she paid me like her rentals and the setup, I think she was thinking it's gonna go my way and I'm gonna get it because I need it. And I
Right.
was like, no, I like, there's no way in 30 minutes I'm gonna drive to Bakersfield, set up the canopy, the draping, the
Right.
chandeliers. Like, it can't happen. I said it could happen, but it's gonna be until like
Yeah.
6:30 because I have another event to go to. She was like, no, this is the reason, you know, like, you know how they get upset.
Oh my
So I was
gosh.
like, let me see what I could do. Yeah, so I was like, let me see what I could do. She's in her ceremony, and then I'm like, hey, I'm about to like head that way. She tells me I don't need it no more. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm no longer gonna answer my phone no more.
All right.
Yes. So I'm like, you know, I'm not
Oh.
gonna answer my phone no more. I'm gonna head to the other events. She's like, it's okay, don't worry about it. It gets to about 5:30. She calls me crying. She's like, it poured on all the
Oh.
decor. I need you to come pick up the linens and dry them for me. I need you to put
What?
everything. No, yes. She was like demanding me some orders, and I was just like, what
Wow.
in the world? So then I'm like, I'll go and swap out the charger plates. Don't worry, like the linens, you know. But I can't put everything brand new because it's like over 300 gas, 250 gas.
Yeah. What?
It was like, no, she was telling me, what if I put them to dry myself? I'm like, go for it. It's okay. The damage will be on me. I'm doing you a favor so it can look nice. She
Right?
does that. She calls me around 7:30. She's like, you need to come over here now because it's pouring and I don't know what to do with my guests. I'm like, it was like a horrible situation for them, and I understand, you know. But it's like,
Ah.
I had when you warn someone, it's because you know it's gonna happen. You know,
Right.
it's like you're feeling something and you're like, it's gonna rain. You know, you already paid me, but I'm helping you out, saying, hey, I think you should get some canopies or do it somewhere else. But no, it was
Yeah.
like totally bad because she was demanding orders. She wanted new linens, new runners, new napkins, thinking it was gonna happen in 1 second. Which I understand. Sometimes we can do, but imagine it's like pouring. What's the whole point of switching it out?
Yeah. Yeah. Like here's a dry. Oh, it's wet already. Like.
Yeah.
What?
So then, not even considering that, the next day I go, all my linens, charger plates were on the floor. My bag job was like thrown because it went through it.
Oh
The
man.
signs, everything was horrible. No one to contact because it wasn't even their property. It was just like, it was bad. It was just like,
Oh
it was so bad. It was like, I'd never want to
man.
deal with this ever. But that made me realize how people truly are and how people think it's going to happen when it doesn't.
Yeah.
But that was a horrible story that happened to me
Oh
like
my
2 years ago.
gosh. So I mean, like,
Yeah.
so what I want to know is, so what'd you do? Like in the like obviously you had damaged backdrops, probably damaged, rental stuff. Like, what'd you guys do?
So I just took it as a loss because it wasn't a lot of stuff. It was a few
Okay,
items.
it wasn't horrible.
Which I understand sometimes due to weather. I do put on now on on my invoices like, hey, you know, you're gonna have a fee if you don't
Right.
take it out of your way and put it inside because you know it's not my property. But back then, I was just more like, let me just pick up the items and leave because I don't want no problems. I just want to leave due to the situation.
Right.
There were some linens that were like it looked like they were cleaning like, sorry about the language, like horse
Yeah.
poop, and I was
Right.
just like, oh my god, what were they doing to my like linens? But it was okay, you know. Back then, I still work around a lot of people. I still work around a lot of brides. A lot of people know me. I don't really mind. Just communicate with me, or I don't mind leaving
Right.
the rentals an extra day or stuff. But communicate. Don't just be like. I have like another story where people tried stealing the items,
What?
and it's just like, oh, I should have probably told you that one.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
but it's like,
So you got to tell it now. People try to
okay,
steal your rentals,
so yes, so I
like
had
like
a
guests or like the couple.
no, the couple.
Oh my gosh.
So I had done a it's not a bride or a quinceañera. It was more a party, but it was
Okay.
really nice. I
Okay.
had done like a first party for a couple.
Okay.
They look super nice, but you could tell it kind of feels suspicious at one point. You could tell when you
Ah.
feel it, you're like, and I was just like, okay, don't worry. And I like asking questions, but I know I now notated just in case. I'm like, hey, do you want me to leave you extra weights because it's kind of windy? I don't want the canopy to be everywhere. Nope,
Right.
I'm gonna do that because I usually put the like cat. Like, they like I usually rent them and I like playing myself. I'm like, perfect. I'm like, hey, it's kind of windy. Like, it's hard. I'm communicating. I'm like, do you want me to take you extra weights and stuff? They're like, nope, we got it. Keep in mind, I'm like, why haven't they called me? I'm texting them for my pickup tomorrow. Nothing. So the day comes tomorrow, and I'm like, I'm there, and oh, I pick up the canopy at night because they're like, hey, you need to come now. It's super windy. I'm like, it was like 1 in the morning. I'm like, okay, don't
What?
worry.
1 in the morning?
Yeah. So it was like 1 in the morning, and there was like there was no one there. Like there was a lot of people like of their family, but I guess no one. She tried blaming it on me due to your canopy not being stable and like due to the
Oh.
wind conditions.
Okay.
No, yeah, she was like, due to the wind conditions, where my guest left, and I'm like, look, I tied it like 3 times. There's no way that you want me to tie it five,
Like,
six
I
times.
don't
Like,
control the wind, lady.
no, like I can't make the canopy stable. It's just really windy outside. There's nothing wrong with it. It's like really on the floor.
Right.
It's like tied down. There's like nothing wrong with it, but it was really windy. Like the draping was like windy. I'm like,
Oh, we
it
lost
was
we
like,
lost your video. There you go.
oh, it kind of froze. It was like extremely, extremely windy.
Yeah.
And she was like saying, they were saying, due to the wind and due to the rain, cause my guests left. I'm like, you can't blame that on me. Like, the products are here. So end of
Right.
story. I pick up the canopy in perfect conditions. Yes, the tarp did rip, which is okay due to the wind because she tied it. The couple tied it wrongfully, which is okay. I wanted it because I felt suspicious. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I just want to leave.
Right.
The next day I go back because she's like, you're not gonna take the tables and chairs. Can you leave them to tomorrow? I'm like, yeah, my tables and
Okay. We are back. We're back. Okay. So you went to pick up the tables and chairs, but they were like, or the night before they were
they
like,
were
don't
not
take
answering
them.
the doors. No, yeah, they were not answering the doors, and they're like, oh, we'll open the side doors, but since you left last night, we haven't seen them. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, we haven't seen them.
The tables and chairs walked
And
away.
and no, that's what I thought. And they have like a huge, huge like gate. So I was like, I don't think no one's gonna jump. And they live in a nice community. Um, she's like, you don't. They're like, you don't pay me like 375 of what we paid you. We're not gonna give it back to you. So they admitted to having them. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna deal with this. So I was like, okay, just give me my tables and chairs, and I'll give you the 375. It's okay. She's like,
Right.
nope. We want like the 375 and then come for them later. I'm like, it doesn't work
What?
like that. No, yeah. So she was like recording me. She was like, I'm gonna post you. I'm like, I didn't do nothing to you.
What is?
We haven't done nothing to you. And it was like,
I'm
well, the
recording
weather
you.
condition. No, she was.
Oh
It
my
was like,
gosh.
I was just like shocked. I'm like, ma'am, you're trying to keep my merchandise. Like, can I just get it back? She's like, nope. So the last thing I could do was to call the cops so they
Right?
could like get my merchandise.
Oh my gosh.
She thought I was playing. She thought I was playing. I was like, ma'am, I was still offering you almost $400 a refund, even though I don't have to because it's not my condition if the wind is bad.
Right.
So then she was like, I called the cops. The cops got there. They're like, we're gonna search the property. If the merchandise is there, we're gonna get it back.
Yeah.
The merchandise was there. They covered it with so many things. She like started throwing them. She was like, here's your like. I'm not.
Oh my gosh.
But yes, that happened to me in the worst time like ever. Not thinking that was gonna happen.
Wow.
And even the other vendor that did the back job that I offered was like, I was kind of feeling suspicious. Like, you know, I was like, oh my god, this is horrible. This is horrible. Like, I had to
Wow.
call the cops, do so much stuff to get my merchandise back, and they were holding my merchandise hostage. It was kind of scary.
That's crazy.
But yes, that's another thing that has happened to us, and that's basically everything because nothing else has happened since like 2 years ago. Nothing. It's been great. The customers, everyone has been so wonderful. I have met lots of vendors that I never thought in Kern County they would be. And it's just like, wow, Kern County is growing with so many party rentals. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Man.
wow.
That's crazy.
That's about the two craziest stories that has happened.
That is crazy. I'm sure you updated your contract after those two stories.
Oh yes. Now it's like, and ever since we came like LLC and we're insured, it's like I have to get detailed, and I'm just like, so many people just think it's like a side job. It's like hustling and busting. I'm just like, no, like only if you guys truly understood what
Right?
it's like owning a business or like how much taxes you actually pay.
What are you talking about? I keep all my money in a drawer. Hey, Sus, I don't know what you're talking about.
Like, there's so much thing that comes with party rentals.
Oh my gosh.
Items, merchandise.
Well, and then you've got employees and you've got workers' comp insurance and like all kinds of stuff. Yeah, running a business in any state, especially California. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But that's about it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is great. I know our contract is pages long now, and like every line has a story behind it. Like something happened, because I've been doing this since 2003.
We saw.
So I've been at it for a minute, and every time something crazy happened, I went, "That's going in the contract." And so I could see, we could read through my contract, for like an hour, and I could be like, "This happened, and here's the story," because it's just how it is.
Yeah. So a question for you.
Yeah.
How do you feel with so many now, I can't say productions, but there's so many photography and video out there. Like so many. Some brides have like 2 or 3 people and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel? It's like, do you feel like you're losing a lot of customers or you're losing or that you're not offering a certain product that they had to get someone else? Like, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I mean, the photography market is far more saturated than the video market in particular. And we don't do photography, we just do video. So that's nice. We only have to compete with the other videographers. But, I mean, the short answer is you always have to be looking for the next thing. You always have to be growing. You always have to be... just trying to figure out, not that we're chasing trends necessarily, but you have to be aware of the trends, because you can't be like, the trends are over here and I'm going this way. Like, that's not going to work out very well for you. So you definitely have to, keep an eye on where things are going. Think about so on the video end, it's like, okay, what music is popular? What, type of editing is popular? What types of shots are popular? What things are couples interested in on the wedding day? And when we go to put their film together, what matters to them? Because all of that does change over time. For example, we've seen a huge uptick in couples who want more of a goofy flavor to their video and less like just beautiful romantic cinematic slow-mo. Like that was a thing for a while, and now couples are more like, hey, I want it a little more real, a little more raw. I don't want a million hours of slow-mo in my 3-minute video. So it's like couples, what they want changes. Bottom line, just like in any business, your customers change over time, and when there's a generational shift, there's a shift in what people want. pre-COVID, everyone wanted to work at an office. Now everyone wants to work from home. And like, and our business had to go through that shift too. Like, we've been out in offices since 2017. I started at home, and then, we've had an office, we had a studio where people could come in and film at our studio. We've done all kinds of things, but in the end had to go, well, the trends have changed and shifted so much that none of our clients want to come film at our office, because we have both the wedding video side, Evermoore Films, and then we have our corporate business videos, Story King Studios, that we do. And so we do videos for businesses as well as videos for weddings. And it used to be that both, particularly the corporate end, people would want to come to our studio and film in our studio. But then that's like not a thing. No one wants to come film in a studio anymore. So last year we actually closed our studio. We've been there for 5 years. We built out, this nice studio and a warehouse and all this stuff. And we finally closed it down and left. And now we're back all remote, working from home, because it's what makes sense. It makes business sense, and it makes sense with what people want. And then you're able to lower your overhead, which means you're able to lower your prices a little more, which that's a thing right now too, because the economy is not what it was. And so, you got to adapt. At the beginning of last year, we raised our prices, and coming into this year, we've lowered our prices. And just being real, like, we're like 30% lower price-wise than we were at the beginning of last year. So in the last 18 months, we had raised them, and then we lowered them, and then we lowered them even more, because it's just the economy. That's what we got to do.
But also, let me tell you something really quick.
Yeah.
You could lower it so much and fit the budget for couples, and they will still go with the most newest.
Oh yeah. And there's always
most expensive one. So that's what I'm saying. We could always fit their budget.
Oh yeah.
Help them out, and they'll leave us like on the side, and then they'll come back and be like, "Oh, I went with this person, and I'm upset now because it's way more, and I don't like it." And I'm like, you could always try helping people, and they always go with the other person.
Yeah.
Even though they're like, but that's just how it is.
Especially in the video space, it's like we have to build a connection with a couple. They have to like our work, and they have to be able to afford us. All of those things have to, play together. And there's always a new kid on the block, so to speak. There's always someone who's like, hey, I got a camera and I can make a great, video, or on the photography end, hey, I got a camera, I can take great photos. And people are always willing to give the new guy or new girl, a chance, and save a bunch of money. And so, just in any industry, like, you always have those challengers who are coming in, and they're starting something new and fresh, and you just have to adapt. Like, you can't price match those people. Like I'm sorry, we run a business. We have a team of people. We have like a legitimate business going on here. Like, yeah, we're an LLC too. Like, we've got insurance and right. Like we're not such a high volume that we can be at a super low price. Like, there's a couple of us on the team, and we all got to eat. So we can't do it for $5. So we can't compete with the guy with the camera who's just getting started. I can see it. It turned sideways again. We'll get you back up here. So anyway, it's all good. It's all good. There we go. We just have little issues, with technology, always, whether it's Zoom or Google Meet or any of these things. Like, all platforms have issues, just like all businesses have issues, right? Like you and I, being in business, of course we've had issues and things have gone wrong. And like you said, we talked to a couple, and we're like, it's great. And then they like, hey, we booked somebody else who was cheaper, or someone else who was more expensive, or someone else who was whatever. And we're like, why? Like, it always happens. So,
do you ever ask why?
Yeah. Oh no, we totally do.
No way. I feel like if I ask why, I'm being like nosy. I remember once, not even that long ago, 2 weeks ago, I asked this couple. I was like, why? They were just like, well, they're like cheaper. I was like, can you send me the packages over, girl?
Yeah.
They were like, oh my god, ridiculous. And their work, not to be mean, I love helping people out, but their work wasn't even the best.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, and like, that was my first time ever asking, and I felt like I was being so nosy.
So, yeah, I used to feel like I was nosy asking, but it's sales. It's just sales. You ask why you didn't get the sale. Now, you have to ask questions the right way. You don't necessarily just be like, why? because they may or may not want to answer that, but you give them some, like when we ask, we'll be like, hey, we want to know, why wasn't it a good fit? Was it the price? Was it something else? And you give them something to react to. And then they're like, oh yeah, it was the price. Or, well, no, it wasn't price, but it was this, but if you just kind of toss them an open-ended question, they don't always respond. So anyway,
yeah.
So that actually leads us into a segue to kind of the next segment, which is talking about pricing, because that's always something that couples want to know. But before we jump into that, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the sponsors for our show. This show is brought to you by the Evermoore Films Wedding Vendor Directory, and that is a directory on our website with over 1,000 local vendors where you can find anybody in any category. If you're planning a wedding or a quince or any other event, and you're like, hey, I need rentals, I need catering, I need a DJ, whatever it is, you can find that on the directory. This show is also brought to you by Story King Studios, which is our corporate video production brand, where we create videos for companies. We do content creation, we create promotional videos, we create TV commercials, all kinds of video production. So that's something that we do for that side of our business. Jesus was asking some questions earlier about, how do we find, how do we deal with competition, right? And one thing to remember is competition is not necessarily the right way to think about it, because it's not necessarily that, that I'm competing with, somebody, or they're competing with me, because remember, we're all different. And the fun thing that a lot of the vendors know, and some of the, a lot of the brides don't know, is that, like, especially with like wedding videography, like we all know each other, right? Like some of the videographers listen to the show, and we all know each other. We get together for lunch and hang out, and do different things. Like at times we've had little, groups and meetups where we got together regularly. So the majority of the people in town who do wedding video know each other, and we know each other, we know each other's work, we know what each other do. And so, it's just funny because people will sometimes think like, wow, I gotta like go around and like try to like get a quote from so-and-so and get a quote from so-and-so and try to like, and then like pit their quotes against each other. It's like, we already know it. It's like, what are you trying to do? We know each other already. And, just last month, a bunch of us videographers got together and had lunch. We're just chatting about different stuff, and it's just funny because it's like we get together, we learn, and sometimes we shoot for each other, and we help each other out too, because it's like we're friends, and like sure, at some point, yes, we're competition in the sense that I offer video, and so does Joe and In Motion, and so does Angelo, and so does all these other videographers, and yes, at some point we're competition, and that we all offer videography, but even though we all offer videography, we're different. And so, that's the thing at the end of the day is, the pricing is all going to be fairly similar. The packages are fairly similar, but who do you like? Who do you connect with? Who do you want to work with? That's something to think about. So, Jesus is back with us, and so we're going to jump back in with him. And we're going to talk about some advice for couples who may be looking for rentals, because I know Jesus has been in it for a minute, and so he can give couples some advice about what to look for, what to think about when they're looking for a rental company. What do you got for us, Jesus?
Advice. One thing I could advise people is knowing who you're renting from and knowing if the product and the service they're going to offer is exactly what they said. Not going based off photos. A lot of people back then used to use my photos to advertise their business.
Oh.
So that's an advice I could give people is make sure you're get the product and the service. You already sat down with them and went over what you want and what you're getting.
Yeah.
Not just, oh, I saw your page and I want this stuff and, I went with them because of that. Because I've seen a lot of people that doesn't go that way.
Really? Okay, so you mean like people are, for lack of a better way to put it, taking a picture of your table and chairs and being like, hey, we offer this. And then when they pick it up, it's not necessarily the same?
Yes, but we had other vendors screenshot our pictures through our Instagram and just block us and post them.
Oh.
Yeah.
As if they rent those things?
Yeah.
Wow. That's very professional.
that's one thing I'm saying. It's like
Oh,
for me, I like to sit down, or if I know that the date's gonna get booked by someone, at least send a deposit. You know that we offer it, you know that I'm giving it to you, but after you send a deposit, or even before when we meet and now you're ready to book, like when we go over it, I show them stuff. Like I show them the charger plate, napkins, utensils and stuff. Like I like to physically show it to them so they know, like, oh, we're gonna give you this kind of material,
that's
this
nice.
kind of draping, velvet, satin, polyester. You're gonna get this. Like,
Well, and seeing
I
it
like
physically is better than a picture anyway.
yes, I like to physically show it to them. Like,
But
to
if it
me,
was a
it's not
video,
so,
then
like,
you would never need to show them pictures. You could just be like, here's a video of it, because videos are the
oh,
best
of
thing in the whole
course.
world, right?
Like for us, for an example, like a package could start from like 1,600, 1,800, 2,000, 2,500,
Okay.
3,000. It's just the simplest stuff, but it just depends. I can't give a estimate or a quote because a bride could come with like full wedding arches, full flowers, full floral, and I'm like, okay, honey, like no,
Right.
that was not at the price.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah, but it's like we're really reasonable with our prices, and I'm pretty sure we have got told like we're really, really, really affordable, like that I know of, and I think so.
that's good. So, obviously, with you guys offering such a broad range of everything under the sun, it's like you can't really be like, well, packages start around here. Like it just doesn't compute that way. So like what you said is helpful. Like, okay, if you compare us with other people, our prices are reasonable. So that just gives people a sense of like, okay, we know you're not the most expensive guys, so we know your prices are reasonable. Okay, so then with the goal of giving couples some ideas for budgeting, right? Because we all know that everyone's on a budget and everyone's got to try to figure out how to budget for things. So, if you pick out maybe like 2 or 3 of like the most common things people rent, like, hey, I need tables and chairs for 200 people, or whatever it is, like you're going to know what those common rentals are. So if you maybe give,
Right.
kind of list out 2 or 3 common rentals and just give couples an idea of like, if this is what you want, you should expect to spend between this and this, for that.
So, for an example, I'll give a couple of stuff. They usually range depending if you get a package or not, or if you just get like a lot of items. A table around 64-inch table could go either from like $6, $6.90 to like $8.90. It just depends.
And
That's
is that
just the rental of a table?
that's just the table, not table and chairs?
No, just table.
Just table. Okay.
A chair could go from a white resin chair could go from anywhere from $1.90 to $2.65 to $2.50. So it just ranges.
Gotcha.
I can't give an exact price,
Right.
because imagine you get like a linen, you get charger plate and stuff. I bring the total down, so it's cheaper. A charger plate, an elegancia one could be from like $1.25, $1 to $2.50 to $3, depending if it's glass, acrylic. It just depends, but it ranges
Totally.
in that category. Florals, a nice big floral could range from like $40 to like $80. It just depends.
And you're
just
talking
depends,
like a table floral?
yeah, like for an example, when we did Chris's, they did so many nice stuff.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It all just depends. I can't give an exact price because someone will call me and be like, "Hey, you said $50.
Oh,
I want
100%.
this humongous thing."
Right.
So that's why I say it just depends. I work around everything. Like for a whole table decor, tablecloth, linen, charger plate, napkins, goblets, utensils, it could range from like $55 to like $85. It just depends for the whole top, including
Gotcha.
linen and all.
So that would be table.
That's how much it ranges.
That'd be table plus chairs plus everything on the tabletop, like the whole the whole unit.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. So between like $50 and $100 per entire table unit.
Yes.
With decorations or you said was that with or without flowers?
No centerpiece.
Yeah.
Definitely
Okay.
not.
Right.
But it
Right.
just depends.
Well,
Sometimes
and flowers are something where like your cost changes. You know, like I was talking to somebody and I heard that like the material cost for florals has just skyrocketed, you know, in the last couple of years. So it's like, obviously that's going to cost more than it did 5 years ago.
Of course. Like, for an example, sometimes I give them like $300 off, $500 off. I give so many like discounts or packages. They're like, okay, I just want it. I'm like, okay, perfect. You know, or they still sit there and be like, oh, let me look around it. And then they call me in a month and a half, 2 months. They're like, okay, I want it. And their wedding is like 2 months away. I'm like, oh no, like, I'm already booked.
Okay. So then that's the other advice. How soon in advance should couples be booking your services?
How can I say this? We're going to go back to what I was saying. I like it, and it's better because it helps the bride or the quinceañera or parties at least a year. It's so much better a year and a half. You
Okay.
can do payment plans and have it paid off by then, and you're like done. You know, and it's like, oh, I secured my day a long time ago. Now I'm done. Now I'm sit down, stress free, ready to go.
Right.
You know, you do payment. You like send like 200, 300, 500, and you're like, I'm done. That's why I recommend book accordingly. Yes, 6-7 months is still a long time, but when you call us in a month and be like, my wedding's next week, it's like, oh, lady and gentlemen, it's like difficult to help, but we
Right.
try helping a lot of people.
Oh yeah. Cool. Well, hey, Jesus, this was a good conversation. So a new question. What other vendor would you like to see on the show?
Ooh, I have so many.
Who would you like to see on the show?
I would really like to see It's a Venue.
Okay.
I have two in mind, but I would really like to see one. Just because I became really good friends with them as a whole team, and the way they do it and their story is like really helpful, and how they progressed it in advance. You're going to be like, wow, it motivated me. I'm pretty sure it motivated others.
Nice.
It's called the Destiny Banquet Hall.
Oh yeah.
Off White Lane.
Oh yeah.
I used to never think nothing about them, like just their normal venue. But once I started offering, like, we started helping one another. They're so kind, so good. You know, their pricing are amazing. You would expect to pay so much, and it's
Okay.
like, wow, like nothing compared to what people think. So I think them on your next episode would be so wonderful, because
Awesome.
it'll help other vendors, it'll help other venues, and it'll help guests and bride know, like, oh my God, having a wedding inside a hall is not really that expensive or that stressful, because they also
Very
have
cool.
an on-site event coordinator and an on-site event manager. So it's like they're there
Nice.
all times, and you need this, you need that, they're there.
Nice.
But
Very
yeah,
cool.
I would really think and hope you bring them along, and you're gonna love it. It's really good.
Awesome. We'll DM them with us and be like, hey, get on the show, and then we'll do it. Let's do it.
No, I'll actually tell them to text you, and
Perfect.
you can tell them if you would like them to be.
Perfect. Hey, we'd love to have them on. That's perfect. Cool.
Yeah. But other than that, that's about it. I mean, there's a couple more that I could say, but I don't know what you're looking for. Like,
Yeah.
how it works.
So
But you have
to
a
be
full
honest, we have 1,000 local vendors, and we want all of them on the show.
Yeah.
You know, Destiny's on the
Oh,
directory,
you have a
so
whole list.
right.
Yeah, you have a big list.
We want all of them.
I mean,
So, Jesus, the last question here is, how do people get in touch with you? What's the best contact info so they can get in touch with you?
so we do have an Instagram. It's Sanchez Event Rentals LLC _ We do have 2 phone numbers. I just added a new one. I don't have it. I would have to exit, but I could give you the primary one. It's 661-912-9257. You can reach me. I'm the event coordinator. I'm the owner of the whole business. We do have an email. A lot of brides or like other event rentals, they do reach us at Sanchez Event Rentals LLC @gmail.com, and
Nice.
then you can send us your inquiry. If you were to like DM us, just give us a whole description, like, hey, you know, I'm this person, my wedding's this day, and then we could help people out.
Perfect. And do you have a website as well, or just the socials?
It actually went down like 6 months ago, and they keep telling me it's going to be back. So I have to find a new vendor or person that knows how to do it.
Yeah, websites are always fun. Cool. Well, thank you, Jesus, for being on the show. We appreciate having you on.
No, thank you. And I mean, hopefully this was wonderful. It sounded amazing, and it was so cool.
Yeah, super fun.
I'll be in touch with you. And then, I'll let you guys go.
Awesome. Thanks, Jesus. Appreciate you being on the show. And we will see you guys on the next episode of the Evermoore Wedding Vendor Show. Until next time, enjoy.